Hello and welcome. If you're just joining us today, we will be doing commentary on the Southampton F1 Season 2 opener. Not overly familiar with the drivers, if I'm completely honest. But we'll have a look at the lineup as well as the results from the previous season. Then we'll have a little look at the calendar for the races coming up. So tonight we are in Melbourne. It'll be a 50% race with a short format qualifying. And there'll be a few sprint races. For example, next week I believe will be Suzuka, and that'll be a sprint race. So we'll be starting a little bit earlier than we have this evening. That'll be 8 o'clock to start, compared to 8:30 that we are doing today. So we'll just make sure we've got nobody outstanding that potentially might need to have me added if I do need to add them back in, if EA does just EA things and people end up getting disconnected. But we will have a look. We'll start with the results from last season. The Rapid Pup showing absolute dominance in the McLaren, obviously winning season 1, and was over 130 points clear of HD Quickscopes. Just behind him was Supermac in the Red Bull, followed by Lewis X, O'Clark, Tomp, M. Hawk, Browner, Crippington, Barn, SCP Killer, Scummer, Swagscopes 97, Apex, Rothwell, Denny and Benny, Ed Strug, Spills, and Dale G, and in 20th place, Stick Lando. A few drivers, I believe, will not be present on the standings there, as we do have 4 reserve drivers in the bottom 5 places. So following that, we'll take a look at what the lineups are looking like this season. So in the Red Bulls, you've got Supermac and Swagscopes. Obviously, Swagscopes, a fellow South African, representing the Red Bull there. GK Phasebot, Browner will make up the Mercedes drivers this season. In the Scuderia Ferraris, we've got Crippington and Buddy. In the McLarens, we've got the reigning champion, the Rapid Pup. His teammate will be DJ Big Mac. In the Aston Martins, hopefully no hashtag just stroll things, we've got Scummer and Barn. In the Alpines, we've got Tomp and SCP Killer. Hey, Frankie, thank you so much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. Are you racing tonight? We're just going over the results from the previous season and the lineups for this new season, Season 2 of Southampton F1. So in the Williams, we've got HD Quickscopes, who, if I'm not mistaken, was in second place. So we could see a bit of battling between... Gwamps is now in the Merc. Who did he replace? But anyway, I digress. Possibly going to see a bit of a battle between the Williams and the McLarens. Alspons will be HD Quickscope's teammates. Obviously, HD Quickscopes, I believe, was the runner-up in Season 1. In the Racing Bulls, we've got Lewis and M-Hawk. Back in the Kick Sauber is Sticker Lando, and he'll have O'Clark for company as a teammate, Apex, and Denny and Benny rounding off the lineup in the 2 Haas cars. So once again, those results from last season, the drivers to keep an eye out for would be the Rapid Pup and HD Quickscopes. And the schedule for this season, obviously tonight, is Race 1, and we are in Melbourne. So should be kicking off any minute, loading into the lobby for the short format qualifying. Next week, I was mistaken. Next week is not a sprint. But next week we will be in Japan for Suzuka. Personally, not a big fan of the track. Can be certainly more entertaining than a track like Monaco, which is race 5 on the calendar. But I digress. Shanghai will be race number 3 on the 16th of June. Barcelona on the 23rd. Followed by Monaco, aka Snooze Fest, aka no overtakes, aka if there are overtakes, there will be safety cars. Montreal, followed by Silverstone, and Montreal is also a sprint race. Spielberg, I believe that's Austria. And that is a regular race, followed by Spa, a track I personally don't get on with very well. I just never seem to have the right setup. Monza, which will be a sprint race, followed by the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, yeehaw, on the 11th of August, and then rounding it up at the Yas Marina. And that will be the schedule for this season. And we will hop back and we'll take a look at who is already in the lobby. And if anybody is in the chat want to say hi or join me in lobby for a quick pre-race interview, see what you feel your chances will be here in Australia for the season opener. I am in the Southampton _F1 Discord under lobby. I'll be doing pre-race interviews just ahead of qualifying, as well as post-race interviews for the podium winners. So if you are watching and you do manage to get a podium, feel free to stop by. We'll have a little bit of a chat about the race, but just due to time constraints, I'd like to keep it just the people who get a podium. But it is exciting as we've got 18 drivers in and ready to get on with qualifying. We are waiting for 2. Wamps will be in the Mercedes, and it is his teammate that is missing. Who else is missing? Let's have a quick little squizazzle. The second Haas driver. So I believe it's Apex and one of the 2 Mercedes drivers, I believe GK Phasebot, missing. Oh, we're also missing a Williams. Okay, so Apex is now in, the Mercedes driver's in, and it'll be HD Quickscopes without a teammate. So Alspon's apparently unable to make the race tonight. Hopefully he'll be able to join us next week. But we will get straight into the qualifying. With 19 drivers on the grid, can the Rapid Pup maintain the momentum he built up last season? And could the Rapid Pup dominance bore fans? It's all to race for here in Melbourne with the season opener. And with it being a new game, new handling model, anything could happen. So as we get ready to go into qualifying, I'll turn the webcam off and go full screen so those of you watching at home can have a better view of how poorly I'm able to time every incident. As I move off a driver, boom, something happens to him. I promise, watch. Alrighty, who's going to be the first to come out of the pits? Call or not, thank you very much for the follow. It is much appreciated. Are you racing tonight? So who will be the first to leave the pits? I'll get telemetry on. And I believe everybody will probably be doing qualifying. Oh, we've got Crippington and somebody else. I can't see quite that far down. But Crippington coming out, but he's not the first to come out. Couple more drivers leaving the pits now. Hey, call or not. Ooh, well, I really appreciate the follow. Thank you very much. So, Crippington and the Rapid Pup, the first two drivers to be coming out, and the Rapid Pup appears to be in an Alpine. Well, I don't believe I had the most updated driver lineups if the Rapid Pup is in an Alpine. But certainly somebody to keep your eye on here with the season openers. He is the reigning champion and was 130 points clear of HD Quickscopes, who managed to secure second place at the end of the last season. So I believe the Rapid Pup will be the first to set a lap. So we'll do the first lap on board with him. The track is looking quite busy. Hopefully not too quick, as Crippington not far behind. We've got yellow flags, as I believe that's Melons. It's giving way to drivers only on an outlap. But the Rapid Pup about to go for his hot lap now, making his way down the main straight. And what kind of time could we see here as he makes his way into turn 1? Really on the edge of what's going to invalidate there, as he almost cuts the corner, but has razor precision through the apex. Coming into turn 3 now. Pretty solid exit. And through turn 4 now, riding the curb as you should. And flat out through this section here. He is looking very clean, and I'm sure his time will only improve as the session goes on. And then it's just a question of who can match his pace. You're welcome. Is this a league race? It is. I don't participate in the league, but the league has asked me to do commentary for them for the season. And this is the Season 2 opener. So the Rapid Pup losing the rear end ever so slightly on that last corner. And I'm wondering if that could cost him time, as he does have a Ferrari just in front. Doesn't seem to be impeding, but may help him a little bit with the slipstream, actually. As he sets a blisteringly quick 1 minute 17, and Crippington should be... I thought he was going to be next over the line. He is in the pits. Something may have gone wrong for Crippington. So, HD Quickscopes, Gwamps, 4/10 behind the Rapid Pup. M-Hawk coming in a little bit over a second slower than Gwamps, Denny, and Benny with a 1 minute 19. We'll definitely need to see an improvement as Cryptic Tico. Cryptic Tico setting a new fastest lap, 2/10 ahead of the reigning champion, the Rapid Pup. So Denny and Benny and Ricey will definitely need to find quite a bit of pace. Their time's not looking overly strong here, as we see a few more times popping up. HD Quickscopes, who finished second in the championship, will need to dig deep to find almost a second of pace to bring it in line with his championship rival from last season, the Rapid Pup. So we'll try and find out who is on a hot lap. Nope. SCP Killer appears to be on a hot lap as he goes wide. Doesn't appear to have invalidated. But what kind of sector times can we see from him here? As he's making his way through Sector 2. Hopefully the Aston Martin behind is not on a hot lap, as I think he may have a little bit more pace than SCP Killer as he makes his way over to the chicane. Razor Precision almost cuts it, but as you saw there, he kind of turned left ever so slightly to ensure he wouldn't invalidate his lap as we make our way over to the final few corners. What Do you know who won Australia last season? No, unfortunately not. I only did the final race for this league last season. And I believe there's quite a few new drivers this time round. So SCP Killer, very respectable, 1 minute 17. But the Rapid Pup needs to find a little over 2/10 to snatch pole from Cryptic Tico. And Apex in the Mercedes, his teammate currently is P3. But can he improve on his time enough to get himself on the podium, possibly knock his teammate off of the podium for the start, as he's making his way through the second sector now. And quite a few cars in the pit, so if anybody wanted to do an uninterrupted lap, now might just be the perfect time to do it. You've got a fairly low chance of impeding. Dr. Zoidbergs, thank you very much for the follow. It is much appreciated. As Apex going a little bit wide there. Finding the not so optimum line, unfortunately, and backs out of the lap to dive into the pits, surely to get some new boots on the car. And SCP Killer will be pitting for new tires as well. M Hawk has currently in P9. Come on, Gwamps. Third, says Dr. Zoidbergs. Clearly, Gwamps has a fan in the audience this evening. So, a fairly solid... Whoa! What on earth was... what on earth was William McNamara doing through the chicane there? As he went very wide. And, M-Hawk appears to have backed out of his lap. And we'll see if we can find somebody on a lap. No, McNamara is going to be pitting, so Gwamps appears to be the only driver currently on a lap. Can he improve? Needs to find 6/10 to gain pole. Can he do it? We'll find out his time split at the end of the second sector. He's up by 4/10. Could potentially get second place, knock the Rapid Pump down. But it all comes down to these final few corners. I'm sure you would have seen the split time. The pressure is on to absolutely nail these final two corners and get a good exit on the final corner. Which he does, but is it going to be enough? As he gets pole, he managed to gain another 2/10 just in that third sector. He was up by 4, managed to snatch pole as he's just shy of a 10th quicker than Cryptic Tico, who's currently on an outlap. Will be surely wanting to get that pole back from Gwamps. And the Rapid Pup yet to answer after setting his initial banking lap. So it'll be interesting to see if he can find some pace potentially, but Cryptic Tico now through the first 2 turns keeps it clean. Now looking to make his way down to the third turn. Remember, he needs to find just a little bit over a 10th. So we'll find out what the split time is as he makes his way towards Sector 2. He is up by 6/100ths of a second, or just a little bit over half a 10th. And maybe a little bit of impeding from the Alpine there. Could that potentially hurt his lap time? And could we see the stewards get involved for that impeding? Or potential impeding? And he has invalidated. That is heartbreaking. Surely enough time left in the session to get a refuel and some fresh tires. As Gwamps makes his way into the pit, the Rapid Pup, I believe, was the car impeding in the second sector for Cryptic Tico. So let's see what the Rapid Pup can do here and whether he can put it back on pole. As obviously he has not seen pole since Cryptic Tico set that 1:17.061. Rapid Pup needing to find a little bit over 2/10 as he makes his way through the first 2 corners, looking absolutely rapid now. Good exit. He's going to have the DRS flap open, making his way down to the third turn. Loses the back end ever so slightly, keeps it in control, but could then hurt his time coming through turn 4 now. And we should see the split time now. He is up by a 1/10.5. Almost loses it, but manages to keep that Alpine on the track as he makes his way through the second DRS zone and over towards the chicane. To close out the second sector, what is the split time going to look like? He's up by 2/10. If he can find another half a tenth, surely we'll be able to put it on pole, but does he have it in him? As we come up to the last few corners, everything to play for here. Obviously, we saw Guamps able to find 2/10 in this same sector when he set his current fastest lap. And the rapid pop invalidates, and that's that pressure I was talking about when you know you're up and you absolutely need to nail that third sector. The pressure can be a bit much. So we'll take a look at what Melon is up to in the Kick Sauber. Both teammates not too far off the pace of one another, only 2/10 separates them. Melon is currently the fastest driver. Believe he'll be doing an in-lap currently as his fuel is low. We'll see if Apex is on one. He is not. Scummer has just gone into the pits. M-Hawk is on a hot lap. Needs to find quite a bit of pace as his current fastest lap is a 2 and 4/10 off of the current race leader, Guamps, who's come out of nowhere, managed to stick it on pole. And lovely to see the McLaren in the kick getting out of the way of M-Hawk so as not to risk his lap time. And M-Hawk does just that. He managed to find quite a bit of pace there, moving all the way up to P4. SCP Killer was another rapid person. We saw obviously his teammate this evening was the champion last season. Currently sits P3. And SCP Killer is a 10th behind the driver in front. The two Kick Saubers currently outshining him. And he has invalidated. We'll take a look at what Apex is up to. Currently sits P10. So on the cusp of not being in the points. And that exact corner has caught a couple drivers out here this evening. And he's aborting his lap. We'll take a look at what Cryptic Tico is up to. As he's invalidated, unfortunately. We'll take a look at if Guamps is able to improve on his lap time. Is up by just shy of a 10th. Really looking to absolutely seal the deal on starting pole. Isaac Percy, thank you so much for the follow. Caution fire warning saying great comms. Thank you very much for the support, man. I really appreciate it. But Guamps now, final few turns, we've seen the pressure get to a few of the drivers in these turns. We saw Rapid Pop up by quite a bit and hit track limits on this very corner with 2 corners to go. Is Williams on a hot lap? Is he going to move out the way? Hopefully this will not be hurting Guamps' potential time. And he does go quicker. A 1:16.853 surely will absolutely seal the deal for pole. Isaac Percy says, who's your favorite driver on the grid? Are we talking about in today's race or in real life? Because if we're talking about today's race, I have to give the love to a fellow South African HD. No, HD Quickscopes isn't the South African, is he? But he was the runner-up last season. Oh. Well, either way, I like HD Quickscopes. I think he's a good driver. Came P2 last season. Was 100 points shy of the. What's your opinion on the Rapid Pup? I think he's kind of in a league of his own. which is why I'm kind of liking that Guamps and Cryptic have outpaced him here in qualifying. Because I only watched the final race of the previous season. But I did notice that he was quite a bit quicker than most of the other drivers. So I'm hoping that Cryptic and Guamps give him a bit of entertainment up the front this season. And certainly a bit of action for us in the commentary booth. I do think he's an incredible driver. I'd like to see him get into the action a bit more, but that's not really possible if he's a lot quicker than other people. And HD Quickscopes falls just out of the points, down to P11. And Supermac is ways off the pace. A full, just shy of 12 seconds behind the current pole sitter, Guamps, who has shocked everybody here this evening, might be giving that Williams a tow. And he's backed out of his own lap to allow, I believe that's HD Quickscopes through. And now HD Quickscopes has just abandoned his lap. Interesting. So SCP Killer has retired from the session. So barring any major incidents, should be starting in P9. And Crippington in the Scuderia Ferrari. How about Ricey123? Do you think he shows potential? It's tough to say. Because I was kind of told to focus on the drivers near the front, so I haven't really seen much of him. But just judging from the pace, maybe Australia's not a very strong track for him. But he is a little bit off the pace, but I think if he can sort of find his way closer to P10 by the end of the race, I think it shows a lot of potential there. Especially if he's starting as far back as 17. And that's the thing, you know, like, you can get points just by staying out of trouble consistently. Pretty risky move from Ricey to have dumped all his battery just before the DRS zone. A very interesting strategy as we are rounding off the qualifying. And Cryptic Tico manages to snatch pole from Guamps, coming in with a 1:16.493. Can Rapid Pup find 8/10? Can we have the car volume a bit louder? For sure. It's a new game, so I haven't fully worked out all of the settings just yet. You let me know if the volume's better or if I need to turn it down or up a bit. So the Rapid Pup needs to somehow find 8/10 to take pole from Cryptic Tico, and that is the corner that he invalidated on previously. We're coming into the final two corners now. Will it be enough here in Melbourne? Not quite enough, but does manage to get into the 116s with the two drivers ahead of him, Guamps and Cryptic Tico. So surely going to see a bit of a battle between those three drivers in the race, and that will round off the qualifying. So Cryptic Tico, Guamps, the Rapid Pup, Spills, M-Hawk, Barn, Melon, Tom P, SCP Killer, Crippington, Apex, HD Quickscopes, Scummer, Counters, Buddy, Ricey123, William McNamara, and Supermac rounding off the lineup here in Melbourne. So, your pole sitter, Cryptic Tico, who came in a gargantuan 4.5/10 quicker than Guamps, and the previous season's champion, the Rapid Pup, a little bit further behind with a 1:16.957, but those three certainly going to be in a league of their own, as P4 a full 3.5/10 behind the three current podium sitters. So there you have it, your lineup. And I imagine as the season develops, we will surely see performance changes. People figure out setups for the new game and the new handling model and getting used to it. I know in other leagues there's been people who've been dominant, new game, new handling model, and they've been sort of back of the midfield. And that's coming from, winning a championship with a massive gap of points to P2. And I'm hoping that's not what we're going to see from Rapid Pup. Hopefully he's just working out a little bit of the teething errors with the game only being out for about a week now. So hopefully we've got an entertaining race here this evening. And I'm never a fan of having massive gaps across the field. So I think if that does happen, I'm going to have to pull commentator's curse and say we need a safety car. But with 1, 2, formation lap, all right. So we'll be doing a formation lap. And I swear, every league that does it, it catches me out every single time when there's a formation lap. Because I'll be like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and away we go. But it's a formation lap. The first couple times I did leagues with formation laps, I was like, why is nobody driving fast? Why are there no overtakes? Yeah, but we live and we learn. I'm smarter now than I used to be, and that is always something to be proud of. As we've got 2 that have been disqualified from the 3 that have been disqualified from the formation lap. That's Counters, Danny and Benny, and William McNamara. All 3 unfortunately disqualified from the formation lap. And I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of these 3 drivers, Cryptic Tico, Gwamps, and the Rapid Pup. Surely going to have some amazing battles here in Melbourne. And then a little bit further back, we should have Spills, M-Hawk, Barn, Melon, Tom P, and SCP Killer all in the mix for that 4th place. And potentially further up, if there's battles and they can kind of thread the needle, get ahead of those top 3 drivers there. And I'm also keen to see if we got a bit of anybody getting a bit spicy towards the rear of the pack. I'd love to see some battles all throughout, but obviously the main priority is going to be for those in front and throughout the race. Jay Barrow, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate the follow. Have fun. I'm just doing a bit of commentary for a league. And yeah, should be a good race. We've got some quick drivers, we've got some slow drivers. So I'm not going to mention who's who. I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah, so hopefully a good race, and my main focus will be on the drivers in front. However, if there are gaps further down the field that are tighter and it looks like something might happen, I'll go to those drivers. But the main focus will be, if there's battles happening in front, that is where I'll be focusing. I believe everybody's on the grid ready to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and with that it is lights out and away we go. We'll go on board with Gwamps into turn 1 as he gets a massive launch, getting ahead of Cryptic Tico into turn 1. Absolute chaos as we've got Spills who's gone round. There's been a bit of a collision, lots of bumping, and now there's a Mercedes round. Absolute scenes. William McNamara with a 10-second penalty on the first lap of the race. Absolute chaos into the first 2 turns, and we have still got cars together. Loads of 10-second penalties have just come up. Tom P, Supermac, Apex, and William McNamara all picking up 10 seconds of penalties as Gwamps now breaking away from the pack, 8/10 ahead of Cryptic Tico. The Rapid Pup only half a second behind. And it's just like I said, these 3 should be sticking together throughout the race, but Gwamps looks to be running away with it a little bit. Already almost a second ahead. Cryptic Tico needs to work if he's going to be able to catch up to Gwamps and stay within that DRS. So we'll have a quick look at the position changes. Cryptic Tico dropping on the Rapid Pup right where he started. The biggest losers so far for the first lap is Spills, Tom P, Barn, and Apex, who've all dropped massively so far. So that is unfortunate. And we'll have a quick look. So that would be why Gwamps has the pace. One of the few drivers to have started on the medium tire. Cryptic Tico and the Rapid Pup. Indeed, most of the field on the hard tire compound. So we won't be seeing too much of Gwamps as he's already 1.3 seconds ahead, but Cryptic Tico and Rapid Pup could be about to duke it out for that P2 spot. And Cryppington now getting a really nice move on Melon. Can he make it stick? He has to back out. Melon taking the inside line, a little bit of contact there through turn 3. As he's still on it, hoping to try and get a move and make it stick, as we see a lot of gaps opening up throughout the field. Currently, this and Ricey are the closest gaps, with the exception of Apex, who's just been overtaken by Supermac. And we've got a little pack forming down here, and Spills getting ahead of Buddy. So we've got a Sauber and Ferrari battle happening here, as well as here, as Cryppington finally making the move stick past Melon, just ahead of the DRS zone. We'll get DRS. And Melon will not surely going to fall back. So quite a lot of gaps. SCP Killer needs to find a bit of pace to catch up to Scummer in the Aston Martin. But we've got HD Quickscopes going wheel to wheel with William McNamara as a little bit of contact is made. However, they both keep it on track. Excellent driving from both drivers. And goes down the outside. William McNamara goes through the gravel, and bonus a cheeky position snatch, taking P11. Will fall in just behind HD Quickscopes. And Bar now getting an easy move past HD Quickscopes through to turn 1. Does seem to have slightly better exit. Will retain DRS through to turn 3. William McNamara not too far behind, but we've got Spills, who could be potentially looking to make a move on Ricey, as Ricey loses the rear end there. And William McNamara really struggling to keep it on track. I suppose that setup not really working for him. Spills having to back off the accelerator a little bit to get the turn into, so as not to go into the wall, as Apex UDD getting ahead of Denny and Benny, moving on up to P18, but a few drivers do have those 10-second penalties. We'll go on board with Melon. Oh, and Counters getting ahead of SCP Killer just before the chicane, and will retain DRS due to the timing zone as they make their way through to the third sector now. SCP Killer needs to work if he's going to be able to take that position back from Counters. Currently sits P9, his teammate up in P3, and I do feel we may already need a safety car, just because there's so many gaps throughout the field. I mean, there's a few close battles happening, like we could see Spills make a move on Ricey here before turn 1, even though it's better to try and make the overtake in the DRS section after turn 2. He's thinking about it. Is not going to go for it, though, through the first 2 turns. If he can get a better exit, hit the DRS, and might be able to get ahead. No, it appears Ricey may have gotten the better exit there. We've got Tom P making an easy pass on Buddy, who did not get DRS. So Tom P up to P16, just behind his teammate in P15, who is kind of in the mix here. I'm liking this little pack around Ricey. So Ricey, Spills, and Supermac currently in a little bit of a battle for that P13 spot. Oh, and Spills getting the overtake on Ricey. And Tom P was trying to make a sneaky... No, not Tom P. Supermac was attempting to try and get past. Unfortunately, did not work out for him as he made contact and had a collision with the wall, unfortunately. So we will not be seeing a safety car just yet as we round out the 4th lap. But Melon now... Ooh, Cryppington has managed to make inroads towards M. Hawk. And Cryptic Tico has caught up to Gwamps 5 laps in. Bear in mind, he is on the hard tire. So if he can catch up, overtake, and get past, he should secure the win. So surely on this DRS section here, we should see an overtake. Does he have the legs? He does not. Is forced to not let the move stick. Through the chicane they go. Gwamps clearly having slightly more grip through the corners. Might be due to the medium compound. But SCP Killer getting ahead of Scummer, and I have literally just missed that. I'll try and look for where the next closest gap is. It's all the way down in P16. And Apex going to get ahead of Buddy. Cryptic Tico still looking to try and make inroads on Gwamps. Scummer wants to try and get that position back from SCP Killer, who has moved up 2 places. From P9 up to P7 now, sets his sights on tackling the 4-second gap to Melon. Crippington really needs to stay with these guys a bit more now that they're closer. I think Cryptic Tico might be getting a little bit impatient trying to make a move stick through turn 3. Was unsuccessful, unfortunately. Gwamps defending very aggressively, but is doing a fairly good job of retaining that P1 position. But surely going to see Cryptic Tico's battery is looking a little bit healthier than Gwamps coming through the DRS zone. But I don't think it's going to matter. Gwamps with 44, Cryptic Tico with 98. Surely in the next 2 DRS zones we should see a move. Currently trailing by 4/10. I'll stick with these guys for a bit, even though Counters looks like he might be making inroads, in HD Quickscopes getting ahead of Barn. While there are gaps across the field, there are still some pretty decent battles happening. Crippington could be looking to take that P4 spot from M-Hawk. And we know Cryptic Tico finally getting that P1 position back. Obviously started pole. And has now managed to get back ahead on the slower tire compound. Currently up by 5/10, so we'll check in with M-Hawk, who's just lost out to Crippington. Does not have DRS. And we've got Barn getting the position back from HD Quickscopes, who looks to have lost it a little bit through turn 2. Turn 1 and 2, my apologies. And we'll take a look next closest gap. Could see Counters make a move on Scummer. We've got a few penalties. We'll take a quick look at those. So 2 10-second penalties, 2 3-second penalties, and that's all she wrote. 4 penalties and another 3-second penalties. This time Scummer, the latest of the offenders for track limits. But M-Hawk now does get passed by Crippington. Crippington doing a really good job at working his way through the field. I believe he started like P7 or 8. No, he started P10. He's up 6 places, able to dodge the chaos at the start of the race, and it has certainly benefited him, as he's managed to gain 6 places in the Scuderia Ferrari. So certainly might be somebody to keep your eye on this season. If in the race opener he's managed to gain 6 places in the first 8 laps. So I'm very excited to see what Crippington's going to be able to do this season. Obviously, Gwamps and Cryptic Tico still in a battle of sorts, but Gwamps, you're going to have to take that corner a bit better. You've lost a bit of pace, went wide, and if you keep that up, surely you're going to get a 3-second penalty. So I think the best that Gwamps could possibly hope for, because Cryptic Tico looks absolutely savage pace-wise at the moment. He's on the hard tire, and Gwamps is kind of struggling to keep up. Although that could be due to the medium tires potentially starting to go off already. I haven't played a lot of the game, but a few people have said the tire compounds feel a lot softer and they don't last anywhere near as long. So Gwamps, if you are listening to the stream potentially, it's a long season. You don't have to win the opening race. It's good for momentum, but you don't have to. Oh, and we've got SCP Killer going round, as well as Counters going round. That is mental. 2 cars taken out in those final few turns, and we saw it happen in qualifying with the pressure. Scummer now up to P7. Not a terrible way to start the race for him, other than the fact that he's got 3 seconds of penalties, which will drop him down to P9 unless he can find a way to get a gap to the 2 drivers behind. He is, however, up 6 positions from where he started. M. Hawk now, obviously does have that 3-second penalty, but is keeping up with Crippington in the Ferrari, and Mellon not too far behind, obviously hoping they will battle and potentially see Mellon snatch that P4 position from Crippington. And we do have yellow flags, but I don't believe we'll have a safety car. So Barn looking to get ahead of his teammate now, goes around the outside just before the chicane. Bit of braking, very clean overtake from Barn. I say that, and then he goes and gets a track limits penalty. Unfortunate, but it is nice to see the teammates kind of not really defend aggressively. So Crippington has gone into the pits. Has he got damage? So M. Hawk and Mellon. So Barn going to be snatching that E6, HD Quickscopes. So he's gone onto the medium tire. I did not actually check if he pitted for a wing or not. So, interesting decision from Spills to pit. So, Womps still in the mix with Cryptic Tico. But I think if he keeps up the aggressive line he's taking, he's going to end up with a penalty. He must have 2 warnings by now, surely. So it's Mercedes and VCarb. On lap 10, Cryptic has all the advantage on the harder tire compound, and Spills getting ahead of SCP Killer. And HD Quickscope's the latest offender for track limits. SCP Killer back to P9. He did move up to P7, but spun it. He's currently on a bit of a recovery drive. I think he's got the pace to get ahead. Of Spills. But I think potentially may have lost a bit of confidence with the spin on the third to last corner. Or second to last corner, I should say. And Spills... oh, we've got a few drivers pitting. If anybody's in the chat that is familiar with the league, is it a mandatory 2-stopper, or is this just the new tire strategy? Because there's no ways you're getting to the end. There's no ways those mediums are going to last 18 laps. There's no way. Gwamps' tires must be feeling awful by now, as we see him struggling with the back end, to be honest. And he's just gone into the wall. He now has wing damage. Surely has to come into the pits now. Surely he pits this lap, right? And he does. Will there be a wing waiting for him? Because I've often made the mistake of not setting the wing replacement to yes. So no wing. And onto the hard tires, things are going to feel very strange for Gwamps coming out of the pits on hard tires with less downforce. But the Rapid Pup doesn't look to be too far behind now. And will be on the better compound, so we could see him move up. And whether or not he can make inroads to the current leader, who's a massive 11 seconds ahead of M. Hawk, who has moved up to P2. And Ricey is out. That's surely safety car, right? So we've got a VSC. Why it's not a full safety car when it was literally a crash on track. There it is, safety car's out. So those that have just boxed will move to the front of the pack. And Cryptic Tico, surely he pits, right? Surely he pits. So quite a few drivers diving into the pits. Some have already had a pit stop. Cryptic Tico has made that hard tire compound last 12 laps. We'll surely be going on to the mediums now. A few drivers have already boxed, and majority of the field on mediums, with the exception of M-Hawk, Bon, Womps, and Tom P. But surely we'll see most of the field pit now, barring those that have pitted in the last lap or two, as they'll probably want the position advantage. While we're under safety car, we'll have a quick look and have a discussion at what happened. Obviously, so far we've had absolute chaos on the first lap. First two turns, I think I saw 2, maybe 3 cars spin out, and it was absolute chaos. Created a massive gap throughout the field. There was gaps all over, and you can see that here, for example, between P5 and 6, there's 10 seconds of gap there, and further down there's even bigger gaps. Is Supermac driving with his feet? If I'm not mistaken, his qualifying time was 12 seconds behind the leader, so... Remember, it's not always about winning. Sometimes just participating is a really good thing. And that's no disrespect to any of the drivers. We can see a few drivers who lost out massively from that first lap incident. Spills down 7 places. Tom P down 7. A few of them have managed to kind of recover from that incident. So I believe it was everybody that was like P6 and lower in the first 2 turns was either heavily affected or at the very least affected pace-wise by the absolute chaos that was the first 2 turns. And Ricey obviously lost it just after. He lost it just after the chicane. Which has brought us this lovely safety car, which I believe will be going on for quite a few more laps, as we need to see those gaps close up quite a bit. And it would be nice if lapped cars could finally unlap themselves under safety car. It would be good to see that. So safety car won't be in just yet. Quite a few drivers need to make up a few places, but Buddy... I believe will be the last to join the queue, currently only making his way through the second sector. So, Supermac has already had 2 stops, I believe, for sure. He's the only driver that is lapped. So that confirms my suspicion that even under safety car on this game, lap drivers can still not unlap themselves. I'd love to see them bring that in as a feature. I think it would be a good thing to add, personally. So I wonder if we... Oh, shoot. So, Guamp's currently the only driver on the hard tire. And he's got front wing damage. So I thought when he boxed previously, that he potentially would have gone for a new wing. I think he's going to struggle because he was on the mediums when Cryptic was on the hards. And he was struggling a little bit to keep up with pace, whether that was because the medium tire was going off or it's just a bit of a pace thing. I do not know, but I do know that Guamps is going to be driving a very different feeling car once the race restarts. Just because he's on a less grippy tire and he's got that front wing damage. So those turns not going to feel too good for him. And surely the Rapid Pup, last season's champion, will absolutely demolish and eat him up, as he's on the grippier tire with no wing damage. And I think Cryptic Tico all but has this one in the bag, to be honest with you. He's on the ideal tire compound. So Cryptic Tico is on the ideal compound, no damage. And you know what, with the safety car, could actually make it to the end on those mediums. So I think he's got that one sewn up, and it's going to be a battle for second place, which, if I was a betting man, money's on Rapid Pup. M-Hawk, I don't believe will be able to secure P3. I think Guamps will have the pace to be at the very least within 3 seconds of M Hawk. But I'm very, very interested to see what Cryppington does, because he's made his way through the field brilliantly so far. And he's up 5 from where he started. And when I say he was dancing through the field, he was dancing. That man looks comfortable in that car. So I'm excited to see if Cryppington can maybe snatch a podium. I'd love to see it. I'm very quickly becoming a Cryppington fan. So, safety car is in this lap. We're getting ready to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. So, I believe we'll go on board with... we'll go on board with Cryptic for the restart. So, should see him slow down a little bit, give the safety car some space. And surely going to absolutely boot it out of the last corner. Oop, Guam's very eager to get going. See, here's the thing. I like a restart like this. I'm not a fan of when drivers slow all the way down to like 20 miles an hour on a straight. Like, I get leaving the safety car some room. But, okay. Guamps, what are you doing, man? And there it is, he's booted it. But Guamps not far behind. And we got Rapid Pup just behind them into turn 1. We'll see now if Guamps actually is able to keep control of the Mercedes despite the wing damage and the hard tires. So we got a few position changes. HD quickscopes. Cryppington up to P4. You love to see it, but doesn't have the legs to make it stick. M Hawk snatching the position back as they make contact. Come on, Cryppington, you can do it, man. I know you got the pace. Just get him on the straight. I think you've got the pace. You can get a better exit on the next corner. Now we'll take a look at Guamps, currently 6/10 behind Cryptic Tico, who I believe should be able to win this race. The Rapid Pup not far behind. He smells blood in the water with that wing damage and the chicane coming up. But Guamps going side by side is going to snatch that P1 position. But like I said, with him possibly having a lot of warnings, and there it is. The 3-second penalty, I knew it was coming because every time he's taken that chicane, he's gone very close to the track limits. So very unfortunate for Guamps because he does have that P1 position. And we've got yellow flags. Denny and Benny currently falling massively down to P15. And M Hawk still in P4, but that gap has opened up to just over a second through turn 1 and 2. We are on board with the Rapid Pup. SCP kill, I believe that is his second 3-second penalty. It is so quite a few 6-second penalties and quite a few 3 seconds as well. But it is just like I said, these three would be right about the front and battling with each other. I do think Cryptic Tico has the pace to take it, but I think Rapid Pup could surprise us. I think he's just kind of biding his time, hoping those two will fight and potentially take each other out. I think we'll see a sneaky move from the Rapid Pup. Ooh, fighting with the rear end on the exit of the chicane there. Manages to keep it in a straight line. Cryptic Tico trying to make a move on the outside. Can he make it stick? He just about does. And go on board with Guamps now, who does have a 3-second penalty. Oh, something has happened with Bon. He's just dropped a bunch of places. All the way down to P14. Cryptic Tico with the new fastest lap of 1 minute 20.6. So Guamps and Tico kind of leaving the Rapid Pup behind a little bit. And we'll check out what Cryppington is up to, the main man in the Scuderia Ferrari. And Spills and McNamara go wheel to wheel. McNamara coming out on top, does go a little bit wide there. Apex smelling blood in the water, trying to get a second position snatch from Spills. And Ooh. We do have Supermac in the mix with them, but bear in mind he has been lapped. And Barnes getting the overtake on Buddy. Scummer gets overtaken by SCP Killer. Both have penalties. I believe SCP has more penalties. And Crippington, ooh, with a rather spicy move on the Rapid Pup, who's fallen all the way down to P5 now. M Hawk up to the podium. Oh my god, if he can get ahead of M Hawk and close the gap to Guaps, he could be looking at a P2. Come on, Crippington. Yes, mate. So Cryptic gets overtaken by Guamps. Guamps back in the lead now. And Crippington picking up a time penalty, which will surely dash his hopes of a P2. I mean, I guess it's still possible, but... I always find it interesting watching drivers drive. So Guamps looks to be a fairly aggressive driver from what I've seen. And that's neither here nor there, it's merely an observation. Cryptic Tico seems a little bit more calculated. But I don't know if he's got that aggression in him. I think he likes to play it safe, but he does have really good pace. Crippington getting overtaken by the Rapid Pup. The Rapid Pup up to P4, which should secure him a P3, potentially even a P2 if he can get closer to Guamps, who's the current race leader. And surely going to see Tico make a move in the next few corners. With 10 laps to go, they put us on lap 20, 10 laps to go. That is 2/3 of the race just about done. Crippington falling off massively. He's gone into the pits getting some new boots for the last 10 laps. I wonder if Cryptic knows he doesn't... Something weird happened there as he just lost 5/10 in one corner. I wonder if he knows that he doesn't really need to fight for P1. He'll get it as long as he doesn't get a penalty. So the Rapid Pup needs to try and get the move over and done on M Hawk, even though if he doesn't, it will still secure him a P3 finish. But maybe he's the type of driver who needs to have it set in stone that he finished on track ahead of another driver. Although depending on whether he's got warnings or not, with 10 laps to go, or 9.5 laps to go, whether he's confident he won't be getting a penalty or not, remains to be seen. And quite sad for Crippington, who's fallen all the way down to P11 and does have that 3-second penalty. So SCP Killer and Scummer, the SCP Scummer and Apex, the only drivers with warnings. Cryptic Tico, something definitely has happened. He was 0.2 off of Guamps, now 1.7, and M Hawk is gaining on him. That is mental. Broken front wing meta, question mark? So Cryptic Tico seems to have his head back in the game as he's gaining massively on Guamps. Able to find 0.6 in as little as a single sector coming through the chicane sector now. That gap falling even further as he will have DRS on the next straight. This is what I mean. He's managed to find that much, managed to make up that much gap in that little time. I think this man is just trying to keep it interesting for those of us watching at home so that it's not just absolute Cryptic Tico dominance. Counters the latest offender for track limits. Oof, quite a few penalties across the board. Shout out to the drivers who have yet to get a penalty. So that would be Spills, the Rapid Pup, Cryptic Tico, Melon, And Tom P, the only drivers yet to get a penalty. So Crippington may have been the undercut of a century up to P6, but is 12 seconds behind Spills. And we'll take a look at the tire data to see how old everybody's tires are. The Rapid Pup and Spills 10 lap old mediums. Buddy and Crippington both on mediums, both in the Scuderia Ferrari. And we've got a yellow flag, no safety car by the looks of it. But Supermac is out. I believe he's retired in the pits. Good lad, good lad. We like to see that. So SCP Killer looking to finish the race off on the hard tire compound. Risky choice with the final 10 laps. So M Hawk does have 6 seconds of penalties that would drop him potentially all the way down to P5. Rapid Pup would secure an easy podium finish. Cryptic Tico, I don't think he's going to make a move on Womps. I'll be honest with you. The smart move is just to get pulled along. And the Rapid Pup is going to get ahead of M Hawk as he's gone into the pits, as has Spills. Crippington 12 seconds behind, but what can he pull off here? And Cryptic Tico into turn 3 was having a little sniff around the outside. No opportunity for the switchback as Guams closes the door. Ooh, a little bit wide on the exit there, but Guam's doing a good job of clutching that P1 position. So, Cryptic Tico, I think he could potentially get past. I don't think it would take much, as we've seen him gain 2 seconds to Guamps in a matter of a lap and a bit. I think he's got the pace. Oh no, Guamps with the second 6-second penalty, so that should secure E2 for the Rapid Pup. Just about, if he can find just a touch more pace, as he's currently 6 seconds behind the leader. He needs to find about half a second to really bank it. Whether or not he's able to do that remains to be seen, but surely a podium finish for the Rapid Pup. Last season's championship winner currently sits P3. So Cryptic Tico surely must be getting impatient. He's going for the switchback. He's looking to make a move onto the outside. Makes a little bit of contact from Guamps. Very heavily defensive move. Not sure he really needed to be quite so aggressive with closing the door, but, you know, each to their own. It's easy to judge from the commentary box. So has he got the legs as he makes it round the inside now? Coming into the chicane. Who's going to have the better line and exit? Guam's looking very, very clean this time round. And Cryptic Tico seems to be pulling away slightly due to the DRS with the final 3 corners to go. Or final 3 corners of the lap, I should say. I didn't want to give the impression that the race was ending this lap. So surely Cryptic Tico going to be pulling away from Guam, but really amazing drive from Guams to oh my, severe collision. Guams has done incredibly well to retain. Oh, it's a safety car. How did I miss that? I'm just that dumb sometimes. So the main man, Crippington, much like the real Ferrari, if you support them, they'll give you headaches. As he's P3 on track, but does have a drive-through to serve. And if he serves the drive-through now, that's going to drop him all the way to P14. So with the safety car restart happening, and there'll be what, like 2 laps of racing? Everybody with a penalty basically just got shafted. can't believe this late safety. That's what I'm saying, dude. Everybody with a penalty just got shafted. Damn. Oh. So I think then is if Melon doesn't pit, if Melon doesn't pit, if the Rapid Pup doesn't pit, Melon currently in P5 could be looking at a P2 finish. The Rapid Pup for P3, although I think he'll be able to get ahead of Melon once the restart happens. It's crazy. So I think Melon could be looking at a podium here for the Kick Sauber drive, and the Rapid Pup almost going into the back of him. Crashgate. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Although none of the teams, it was. I don't even know who was it that caused it. I want to say it was an Alpine. No, it wasn't the Alpine. It was. I don't recall. I want to say maybe it was HD Quickscopes that was involved. See, none of the teams that'll be benefiting from this late safety car, I don't think any of their drivers were involved, but hashtag Crashgate is absolutely right. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Alpine. So Melon could be looking at a podium. The Rapid Pup could be looking at a podium. We'll take a quick look at the penalties. So Crippington, obviously, I believe he's got a 3-second and a drive-through. M Hawk has 6 seconds. Gwamps has 6 seconds, and he's been driving very aggressively today. Melon's got none. The Rapid Pup's got none. Apex has 6 seconds. Bond with 6. Spills has none. So the Kick Sauber boys keeping it nice and neat and on track. Scubber's got 6 seconds along with his teammates. So Aston Martin boys getting 6 seconds. Buddy with 3. SCP Killer has 6. Tom P currently sits P13 but has no penalties. Could be gaining massively off of the restart. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many as 7 positions potentially if the field stays tight on the restart. Otherwise, I'm gonna guess 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 positions. So he should finish in the points. That's my prediction for Tom P. Counters, William McNamara, HD Quickscopes. I don't think there's any hope for them to finish in the points. Cryptic Tico pretty much banks the win at this point. Melon the Rapid Pup should get podiums. Spills, I think he's going to improve to P6. That's my prediction. P6, maybe P5, depending on how the Crippington penalties stack up. Scummer, I think he's going to drop 2 positions, so P12. I think Tom P is going to get like up to P8, P7 around there. On track, I think people are going to finish where they are now, and it'll be all down to the penalties. So what an exciting opening race, though. 2 safety cars, one of them this late. And I believe we'll have safety car in this lap. And we'll be returning for 2 laps of racing. Should be interesting. Wamps has a sealed podium. How do you figure? He's got 6 seconds of penalties, man. Had. I'd say the corners that caught him out was just the right-hander just before the DRS zone in Sector 2, and then the chicane. Those are where he got most of the warnings and penalties from. So on the previous safety car restart, Tico was also in front, and we saw Gwamps literally kind of making contact with the rear of him. Oh, and as if Crippington's just spun. Oh no, he's serving his drive-through, of course. So into turn 1. Guamps and Cryptic Tico, but M Hawk going alongside now towards turn 3. Could we see a switchback, or is he going to try and make a move for the outside? As it looks like Guamps breaks early, a little bit of contact, wheel banging there. And M Hawks is going to get ahead, so should finish ahead of Guamps on track. The Rapid Pup smelling blood in the water, needs to set his sights on getting ahead of Guamps. Could we see M Hawk potentially make a move on his teammate Cryptic Tico in order to get the P1 on track? Obviously won't be able to finish P1 as we see a few gaps opening up all over the field. P13 to P14, or P13 to 12, already up to 2 seconds. Cryptic Tico getting overtaken by his teammate M Hawk. Oh, things just got interesting. The Rapid Pup looking at the 3 drivers ahead. Guamps picking up his third 3-second penalty of the race. And Guamps leaving absolutely no space. A little bit of the physics bumping and banging going on there. Hashtag game physics, am I right? So the Rapid Pup moving up to P3. Cryptic Tico in P2. Should see a first and second place finish for them respectively. Guamps has made his situation worse by picking up his third penalty, which could drop him down as far as P15 potentially, depending on how close the... So, yeah, it could be down as far as out of the points with... Oh, because other people have penalties, so it'll work out. It'll work out. He'll be in the points, but where exactly we do not know. Let's see. We got Metal potentially going to make a move on Guamps. Apex not far behind. The Rapid Pump potentially going to make a move on Tico. So Melon, I don't believe will have the legs to catch up to Guamps. So Guamps now 2 seconds behind the race leaders. Wait, Cryptington still has a drive-through, so what did he do? Did you get another drive-through for speeding in the pit lane? So Cryptic Tico. Oh, come on, M-Hawk, don't be nice. Let your teammate get the win on the track. Come on now. Cryptic Tico going to finish P2 on track. The Rapid Pup not far behind. M-Hawk going to finish P1 on the track, but will drop down to P3. Oh, and the Rapid Pup making a bit of contact. Scummer getting a 10-second penalty for a... So there you have your race winner, M-Hawk, but will be P3 for him. The Rapid Pup P2. Cryptic Tico in P1. Melon banking a lovely podium. P3. M-Hawk P4. Tom P. Spills. Apex UDD. Guamps all the way down in P8. Ah, very unfortunate for him. 9 seconds of penalties does tend to do that. SCP Killer in P9. Bunny in P10. HD Quickscopes in P11. William McNamara in P12. Barn 94 in P13. Counters P14. Scummer in P15. And Crippington not wanting to cross the line. Unbelievable. He was on top of the world. Which view do you want? You want the onboard or you want the wide view? We'll go with the wide view. And across the line, Crippington, the last driver to come across the track. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The season opened for Southampton _F1. What an eventful race. Such a late safety car. Guamps got shafted big style. M-Hawk wiped him out. Surely something for the stewards to look at. But there is your race winner. Cryptic Tico. Rapid Pup takes P2. And Melon in the Kick Sauber grabbing P3. So the VCOM team will be very happy about the points. Certainly a driver to keep your eye on, and whether he can remain that consistent throughout the season. Cryptic Tico shows very good patience throughout the race. Doesn't really like to take a lot of risks. Should be interesting to see what he does this season. And there you have it, your race winner, Cryptic Tico. Fastest lap was actually set by Tom Peach. Okay. William McNamara, driver of the day. Okay. Most overtakes by Apex UDD and Cryptic Tico got the cleanest driver. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and that rounds off. See if we can get anybody in for an interview. We'll see if anybody wants an interview. We'll give it 2 minutes. And if nobody joins the voice chat, we will wrap it up there. What an eventful race. We had chaos on lap 1, 2 safety cars. One of them was a late one. And my goodness, what a race that was. So we will have a quick look. This is not the most up-to-date lineup. I'll make sure to have the updated one next week, where we will be in Suzuka, same time, same Twitch channel. And I don't believe we'll be having any interviews tonight. Hopefully something that will develop throughout the season and get to have a conversation with a few of the drivers that have been racing. So thank you very much to everybody that has tuned in this evening. I've been doing your commentary. My name is Scones, and thank you for the support on the channel. Congratulations to the race winners, podium finishers, and those that did better than they thought they would. We will see you back next week, 8:30, Monday. We'll be in Suzuka for the Grand Prix. And hopefully it will be just as eventful and entertaining as tonight's one was. Suzuka is a very tricky track. Oh, we've got the race winner himself just joined. Cryptic Tico, how do you feel the race went for you this evening?
It went pretty well. I think I got really lucky with the safety car, though.
Which one, the first or the second one? Hello?
Oh, hello.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
So which safety car... Which safety car do you feel?
The first one.
The first one. I believe that came out just either as you were coming around to the last few corners or right after you boxed. I forget exactly what the timing was on it.
As I was coming to the last few corners.
Yeah, so that was quite lucky. I was actually amazed with your pace, able to keep up with Guamps, who was on the medium tire and you were on the hards, and you were able to keep up with him.
So I don't know how I managed to keep up either.
It was very good and fair play to him. You know, he was putting in the work on the hards with the wing damage, and then just kind of penalties.
Yeah, he done quite well.
Yeah,
towards the end, my Wi-Fi started to go, so...
Is that why at one point you were like 3/10 behind and then all of a sudden you were like 2 seconds behind?
Yeah, because it said I overtook him and then 2 seconds later he was like miles up the road.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because it was, I believe, in the first 3 turns, I don't recall which lap, you were right on him and then you dropped off the pace like 2 seconds. And I was like, something's certainly gone wrong there.
Yeah, it's my Wi-Fi.
But you managed to make up the gap immensely quickly as well. I think it was only like 2 laps and you were back on him within DRS. So, yeah, I mean, very entertaining to watch you drive. You seem very calculated. You don't seem to really take a lot of risks. And I appreciate that in a driver. I think you've done incredibly well here this evening.
Thank you. It's been great to race tonight.
And would you say Suzuka is a strong track or a not so strong track for you?
This game, not very strong. Last game it was quite good, but I'm not too sure about this game.
No, that's fair. And I'm guessing you're hoping to take the momentum from the win tonight and carry it forward to next week and kind of get a win streak going, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Well, we'll move on to... not sure who it is.
So the Rapid Pup.
The Rapid Pup, who managed to secure P2, right?
That is correct, yeah.
P2. So obviously you were the champion from last season. How do you feel the race went for you this evening, P2? Obviously, maybe not the result you were hoping for, but a very respectable result nonetheless. Was there anything that stood out to you?
I'm happy with the result, to be honest. I felt a bit rusty, to be honest, coming off of that. A few mistakes in the first stint meant I couldn't keep up with the front two. But a well-timed safety car at the end got me back up to P2, and with another lap, I reckon I would have won.
I don't know. I think Tico, he's got a lot of pace. He's really consistent. So I'm hoping that we get to see you guys, like both of you as well as Guam's, getting into a lot of battles throughout the season. So last season, I only did the closing race, but you seem to have a lot more pace than everybody else. So I'm glad you've got people who are like as fast as you now.
Me too. You know, last year towards the end, it got a bit easy for me. So it'd be nice to race alongside these two and hopefully beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing you didn't get to see the carnage that happened in the first two turns on lap 1.
No, I was lucky enough to avoid it. I saw about a 3-second gap after turn when I figured something had happened, but
it was mental. There was like 3 cars that spun out, and there was like collisions all over the place. I'm pretty sure I saw front wing parts all over the place. It was absolute craziness. So I think if anybody that was ahead of P6 managed to get through it without an issue, but everybody behind was affected.
Sounds like Southampton F1 to me.
It's just a wheel-to-wheel racing thing. I think the more it happens, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
Was there anything specific that stood out to you throughout the race that was like, that kind of pissed me off, or like, that was pretty good, or like maybe another driver that was racing well?
Well, I think Tico and Gramps were racing very well, obviously. And it caught me off guard. So after I pitted onto the mediums for the second stint, I think Gramps had an off corner and I broke my front wing. But which is why, I mean, the safety car saved me in at the end there.
Yeah,
so I could pit off with the wing.
Wamps was on a broken front wing from before the first safety car. He lost the end plate.
Well, fair play to him then.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was a mistake not getting the wing changed. Just because, he'd gone into the pits and I thought, surely he'll change the wing, especially with being a safety car. But no. And I think he did incredibly well. There was only 2 drivers that started on the mediums. He was one of them. So he came out of the pits on the hards with the damaged wing. And, he made it work. Unfortunately, those time penalties stacked up and he only managed to secure P8 this evening.
Yeah, that is disappointing for him. Just shows how much staying on the track means, really. Because you can be that quick and then a safety car and then you're screwed.
Exactly. I mean, look at Mellon. I believe throughout the race, he was right around P7, P6, around that. He's managed to score himself a podium this evening. So,
yeah, good drive for Mellon, to be fair. It's nice to see him up there. I don't think I've seen him that high before.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining race, and I'm hoping all the drivers can keep it just as entertaining at Suzuka next week. And from what I've seen this evening, I think Monaco could be a 4 safety car kind of race.
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning names, but there's some drivers that just kind of, like the Family Guy meme. I turn left, go rock everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning names though, but I tried to focus on the front of the pack when there was tight racing. And then when the gaps were not that tight, I was looking at a few of the battles going on further back. And there was some good racing back there, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a bit inconsistent, but it's a new game, isn't it? So we'll see a few races in.
Yeah, I think once people get their setups dialed in and figure out like what the best, for example, in F124, all the suspension settings all the way to the left, tire pressure all the way up, until people figure out if there's like some slight variation of that happens in this game to get the car feeling absolutely sweet. I think once people figure that out, we'll see a whole different kind of racing.
Great. Hopefully, anyway. Fingers crossed.
Anyway, we've got a whole bunch more people just joined.
Good evening, Scones.
Good evening. But thank you very much for your time, Rapid Pup. We'll move on to M Hawk, who won on track and I believe finished P5. Was it P5?
Good evening. No, I got moved down to P4 in the end.
P4. All right.
Shame. It's a shame, but it's what happens when you don't keep it between the white lines, I suppose.
Yeah, you know, and Gwamps, for example, that's a very good example of track limits. Mention names, please. No, I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to mention names of people that weren't driving the greatest. I'm not
That's
looking to
what
make
everybody
enemies.
Everybody, come on, mention names. We want to hear the name.
I will mention one name because
We're not beat about the bush.
I will mention one name because I saw his name come up with severe collision penalties a couple times, and I saw it kind of happen in the first sector. Was William McNamara?
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
McNamara.
yeah.
Every race.
Yeah,
as expected.
I wouldn't like to comment on the matter.
I did try my
did
best
this,
to keep the action going throughout the stream, but you know, there'd be like 6/10 gap between 1 and 2, and then there'll be like P7 and 8 have like an incident going on. The second I swap to that, all of a sudden the gap 1 and 2 is like less than a tenth, and it's like.
Tomorrow, his race sort of like Mario Kart racing.
Yeah. But as you were saying, M Hawk, very important to keep it in between the white lines, and Gwamps is a good example of that. Racked up 9 seconds of penalties and would have been in line for a podium finish and ended up finishing, I believe it was 8th.
Well, that was the target coming out of that last safety car. Seeing we were both on 6 seconds, and he was obviously on the used hards. Was get ahead of him and cement a place, really, because I couldn't see what was going on with the penalties down the field at the time.
I think there was only like 3 drivers or 4 drivers that ended up not getting penalties.
Well, that's happened quite often, I think, in our league.
But yeah, obviously you finished P1 on track.
Yeah.
Did you not feel it was
fourth time that's happened?
Was it maybe a
P1,
tiny bit rude not to let your teammate have the on-track win?
No, not at all. This guy's a reserve. If he's not going to be here every week, and I'm out here to race myself at the moment until my teammate is back from holidays, hopefully next week, and then the RBs will be going full strength again. So we've had a good start, and we'll look to carry that on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Where did your I was going to say, where did your teammate finish? And then I realized like your teammate won. Stupid me.
Yeah. Just to rub it in, yeah.
No, not at all. It was an immensely entertaining race. Did anybody catch the absolute chaos that happened in the first 2 turns on lap 1?
Saw that.
And there was like 3 cars spun, and then I think if you were P6 or higher, you managed to get through it without anything happening to you, and everybody behind that was affected.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, to be honest with you.
I think it's
a
a
mate of mine
disgrace from
was,
Dundee, to be honest with you. I think it's an absolute disgrace.
I had it. One of the lads I was in a party with was streaming it down the mic, and he said that was a Will Mack. He came out of that with a big penalty, so whether there was a big dive that caught everybody up.
Yeah, I think it needs investigating.
I think that does need investigating potentially. Just because I know for sure I saw 3 different cars spin, and one of them spun and clipped another car, which caused that car to spin. So,
Nanny's looking into that. That got picked up to me as well. Actually, apparently somebody in the comments was saying I took out Gwamps on the restart. So I want to go back and see that, because
I didn't
from my point
actually.
of view, that didn't.
Yeah, I saw
didn't
that on
happen,
my
but we'll
comments
see.
as well. Where was it? I don't recall who said. I think it was SPR. Gwamps got shafted, big style. M Hawk wiped them out.
Yeah, that's well. We'll have to review the footage of that. So yeah, I reckon so.
Could be a bit of biased commentary there.
Yeah,
I try not to be biased, but I will say I'm very disappointed.
I mean, the bloke who commented, that's his mate.
Yeah, he did cheer for him, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is Crippington in the call by any chance?
I'm here.
I'm so disappointed in you. I am
so disappointed myself.
You know how much I was hyping you up on the stream too. I was saying, this man started P10. He's working through the field. He looks comfortable in that car. And then you go and rack up a bunch of penalties.
Oh mate, I was having a blinder. I've got myself up to third place.
Mate, you would have had a
Safety car came out
podium.
and- Yeah, the safety car came out and I missed my delta. And then after that, I was falling through the sky. So it's a disappointing day, but shout out to Pitbud.
You need to make sure that next week in Suzuka you redeem yourself.
I will, mate. I'll make you proud. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be watching. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
Let's see. Scummer, where did you end up finishing? You were in the mix right around P6, P7 at one point. You were doing pretty well. Got a few overtakes.
Yeah, I was on for P6, I believe, mate. And then I didn't have a crash or race actually. And then my teammate in the Aston Martin decided to side swap me on the last corner.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave me a 10-second time penalty. I'm not a grass, but I want that investigated. I know he's my teammate, but it just doesn't sit right with me.
No, absolutely. Somebody ruins your race. They need to be punished so that they can learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, it'll be when we have the debrief tomorrow. It'll be a bit hairy in there, but he needs to know he can't be doing that. His tyres were gone. He tried pushing the car to the limit. Just sometimes you know when you've got to give a place up, and he just didn't want to concede on track, which is disappointing. But we'll talk about it tomorrow in the debrief room, and we'll go from there.
And that was Barn 95, right?
Yeah, that's Barn 94. Yeah, Barn 94. So
Almost.
He's older than me, so he thinks he can be on track.
The sad thing is when I saw him overtake you just before the chicane, you didn't fight at all. You let him have the place. So it is really disappointing to hear that he sideswiped you.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was intentional, but
at the end of the day, like be more
yeah,
cautious around your
yeah.
teammates. You don't want to ruin their race.
Yeah, and he ruined my race. And this league this year is tough. It's the point going to be hard to come by. And I was on 3 or 4 points, which would have gone a long way this season. Now I'm 1 race down, 0 points. It's going to be it's hard to get points this season. And I could have done with those 4 points. I'm not the best driver, but yeah, we'll go again next week in Suzuka.
Absolutely. I mean, if you keep your nose clean, if you just on track limits, you'd probably be able to make up 4 places just if you don't get penalties.
Yeah, there was a lot of penalties this race, especially with street circuit as well, which you would expect. But yeah, a lot of penalties going around.
Your teammates just commented on the stream, look at the footage, forced off the track.
I haven't looked back at the footage. I might be in the wrong, but
I don't think I caught it on stream because I was more focused on the battle towards the front.
I've clipped it. I know Spills was in amongst it all. It'd be interesting to see his side of the story because Spills had no time penalties and he was racing like it was his last ever race. All he had to do was to sit behind me and he would have overtook me once we crossed the line. But he was so aggressive on that last corner for no reason at all. So Spills, if you're listening, have a look at yourself, mate, please.
That's actually just made me remember. I did get the incident with Guamps and M-Hawk on stream. I remember it now, and it's easy for me to judge from the commentary booth, but I feel like Guamps maybe could have left a room instead of a little bit of room instead of closing the door entirely on M-Hawk.
Yeah, I've not seen this play, mate. The one in question.
But yeah. Anyway, we will move over to Tom P, who is in the Red Bull. How do you feel the race went, and where did you place?
I had a stinker, mate, but I had no penalties, so I ended up finishing like 5th, 6th. I remember.
And you did get fastest lap, I believe. I know there's no point for it, but
well, I'll take that.
So something to have a little bit of solace in the fact that you had the fastest lap.
Yeah, I'll turn up next week, mate, and I'll be sober as well, so be a bit cut the attempts quicker, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there, we've interviewed everybody, and I think that is going to be a very good place to wrap it up. So I will find somebody to raid. But thank you very much for a very entertaining race this evening, gentlemen. Hope you keep it up.
see you next week in Japan, mate. If
Thanks,
you,
mate.
if
Thank you
if
for your
can be
time.
about.
Yeah, no worries.
Yes, sir.
I will be about. I've made time because my intention is to do, at the very least, the majority of the races throughout the season so I can get to know you guys as drivers. Because, you know, it's all fine and well. For example, you know, I don't know, maybe like the first time you're watching and Scummer gets a P2 and you're like, cool, he's finished P2. But if you've watched for like 3 or 4 races and he's usually finishing P8, a P2 is huge for him. You know what I mean?
You'd
Locked
build
an oily
connection with
track.
drivers.
He locked a bit of oil over tracks. Makes it a bit easier for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I'm
Cheers,
looking.
Stones, mate.
No worries. I am looking forward to finding out how all of you drive and getting to know you all a bit better. And yeah, I'll do. I don't know if I'll do pre-race interviews next week, but I'll keep the post-race interviews as a thing going forward.
All
Thank
right,
you very
mate.
much for
We'll
your
see you
time.
next week.
No worries, guys. You have a lovely
Adios.
one, and yeah, catch you next week.
And
See you
you,
later,
mate.
mate.
Yeah. Arrow live? Nope. Arrow is not live. Screw it. We'll just raid this guy. We are raiding into F1 and possibly French. So yeah, with that, we will end it off there. Have a lovely evening.